Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the gentleman for yielding. Today I rise in support of my legislation, H.R. 3874, the Black Hills Cemetery Act. This bill is of great importance to many communities in the Black Hills of South Dakota. The Black Hills is home to a number of historic communities and cemeteries. Many of these originated in old mining towns in the 1800s. They have unique significance to the surrounding communities. These include the Englewood Cemetery, the Galena Cemetery, Haywood Cemetery, Mountain Meadows Cemetery, the Robe Cemetery, Nemo Cemetery, Rockerville Cemetery, the City Cemetery, and also the Cold Springs Cemetery. These cemeteries are currently being managed by local associations or community groups in the surrounding areas, but have been technically owned by the U.S. Forest Service since the 1900s. This causes unnecessary liability for the U.S. Forest Service because of their responsibility for upkeep and dealing with possible vandalism or damage to the property. The Black Hills Cemetery Act would simply transfer ownership of these cemeteries and up to 2 acres of adjacent land to the caretaking communities that have managed them for generations under special use permits issued by the Forest Service at almost no cost to taxpayers. It also makes clear that these cemeteries will continue to be used for the same purpose as they have always been used in the past. I sponsored this bill at the request of these communities and the current caretakers of the cemeteries and in consultation with the U.S. Forest Service. An article by the Rapid City Journal talked about Dennis McMillan, who is chief of the local volunteer fire department that takes care of the Hayward Cemetery. He mentioned that passing this bill would make it less complicated for both the caretakers and for the United States Forest Service. He also mentioned that this bill is important because it allows for some expansion for those families who are still interested in burial plots. A lot of local residents have relatives buried in these cemeteries. So this coming Memorial Day, many will pay their respects to their family members that are there. Many of these communities will hold special services on the cemetery grounds in the coming weeks. After the House passes this bill, these families and communities are one step closer to having these cemeteries officially in their care and will continue to do an excellent job managing them. I'd like to thank the communities and the local residents for their help in working with my office and for advocating for this bill. I'd also like to thank Chairman Hastings and Bishop for their staff for also helping me push this bill forward. It is for those reasons that we pass this bill and that the Senate does the same. These communities have been asking for a solution to this situation for a number of years, and as their representative, I'm glad that we have the opportunity to pass this bill today off the House floor. I urge my colleagues to support and pass this bill for the communities in South Dakota. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentlewoman from